Nick, very good to see you. Social Security, as you know, is in trouble. So we have 4 tips to maximize your benefit. By 2035, it's projected that Social Security will only be able to pay about 83% of scheduled benefits if no changes are made to the system, which is why we need to start preparing now. You probably know this already too, but 30% of people panic claim as soon as they're eligible. They're concerned that Social Security is going to run out. Do you think Social Security is going to run out anytime soon?
No, it's not going to happen that way. It's
Okay,
not just going to boom, gone
gone.
like immediately. And I know there's a lot of pundits out there and stuff on the TV that will try and get everybody all riled up by saying it's just going to go away tomorrow, and it's not going to be that way. I mean, maybe for me, they'll say, okay, now your claiming age, you have to wait until 75 or something
Right,
crazy
right.
like that. But they're not going to take Social Security for 70 and 80-year-olds and just say all of a sudden it's going to be gone, or it's just disappeared, or something like that. And so what's happened is, you're right, you have all these people now that have gotten fearful that Social Security is going to go away unless they turn it on, like it's a benefit that's going to disappear. And I just don't see that happening. As a matter of fact, you can go on Social Security's website. Actually, just go to Google and type in Social Security, be there for me. I've talked about this on our other interviews too. And you'll have this nice fancy dancy article. And right here at the bottom, it says by 2035, they have enough money in the federal coffers to be able to pay 83% of benefits. And the reason they can say that is because Social Security in its nature is backed up by ongoing payroll taxes, which is going to be coming in no matter what. People are going to be paying in payroll taxes. So even if that trust fund gets depleted, they're still going to have enough money to pay a portion of the benefits.
Right.
And that's what you said is a portion, 83%. I've seen it range anywhere between, that it's going to have problems by 2034 to 2035. I've seen it range between 78% benefits that they can pay to 83% benefits. Bottom line is adjustments are going to be necessary.
Absolutely.
It's going to have to happen at some point. And a word of caution is these 2035 projections that show Social Security is going to be less. You use that as a warning sign that you need to have a plan beyond Social Security. Just don't rely on Social Security being all of your retirement income. And a lot of people, that's what's happened, is they've relied on it as if that's the only income they ever need. And in reality, you got to plan for it to drop in the future and for your assets to need to pick up the load for whatever that drops by.
Right. All right. So let's get into our tips. Of course, claiming as soon as you're eligible means a lifetime of reduced benefits, which is why our first
Yes.
tip is to maximize when you claim Social Security and explain why waiting, Nick, can often be the best financial decision.
Well, and this is something, I mean, I remember I've been doing this for 24 years now. And in the beginning, Social Security was just something that you really didn't need to plan for. And it was very much Social Security maximization, Social Security planning was almost something we didn't talk about that much. It's now changed. I mean, this is one of the big cornerstones that our office deals with, just because of like what you have here. When you lock in Social Security at a lower number, so in this example, at 62 years old, let's just say you took the benefit, you're getting $700 a month, whereas at full retirement age, you would have gotten $1,000 a month. That's a 30% haircut.
Yeah.
So if Social Security cuts in the future, and let's say they cut benefits by 20% in the future, then you're getting a cut of a cut because you turned on Social Security benefits earlier. Waiting, every year that you wait past your full retirement age, Social Security typically goes up by 8%. And so the statistics show that if you live into your 80s, you could live, if you live into your 80s, you could actually get tens of thousands, like hundreds. I've even seen $150,000 or more of benefits that people get by waiting to take Social Security as opposed to turning it on at the earliest age. Of course, that all depends on your health.
Yes.
If you're not healthy and you don't plan on living very long or something along those lines, then maybe you want to turn on Social Security benefits sooner. But we're seeing a lot of people that are living into their late 80s, early 90s. And so if you lock in Social Security at that lower number, that's with you forever.
Right.
And you can't really make a change.
Right.
So that's something to be aware of.
Right. Okay. So, next, changes to Social Security, as you mentioned, are almost guaranteed, which is why you need a retirement income plan that does not rely exclusively on Social Security. Tip number two, diversify your retirement income. What does that mean, though?
So diversification, you throw out that word, everybody thinks, well, diversification, that must mean diversifying my mutual
Portfolio.
funds, like have
Right.
20 mutual funds instead of one, or I need to have 50 stocks instead of one stock. That's diversification. And in reality, there's three types of diversification. There's obviously portfolio diversification, which is what that is, but then income diversification. There's also tax diversification, and that's something for another show. But income diversification is where you have multiple streams of income from different places. And I think about this as like Monopoly. When you're in Monopoly, the whole goal is to have as many spots owned by you with a house on it as you can. That way, when anybody lands on it, you're creating an income. And hopefully, you're good enough and you have enough spots that when that one person keeps going around the board, they keep landing on a spot that you own, and then they run out of money and you make money and everything is great. So I look at it as you have to diversify your income. Social Security is really only meant to make up about 40% of your income. So if you're depending on Social Security to pay all of your income and you're depending on that, that's kind of a risky scenario.
Mhm.
So what I want people to do is create multiple streams of income. Social Security income, pension income. If you have a lot of if you have assets, create your own private pension income, where basically you take some of your own money and you invest it in a plan that creates you an income for life, like a private pension that you own, versus a corporate pension that your company set up for you. Dividend income, where you have income from dividends come in, or maybe even interest income. So if you have income from all these different sources, when Social Security drops, you'll have these other streams of income already in place to help make up for what happens when Social Security cuts.
I bet you're a pretty shrewd Monopoly player, Nick.
So I've learned really early on to four greenhouses, red hotel, four greenhouses, red hotel, and the faster I can get it, the better. And the
I
good thing
think
is I'm
you
actually
knew you'd
really
have
good
a
on the
strategy.
but I'm really good on the board. The board, the original paper board game, right, with the
Mm.
paper money and everything. But they've now come out with a digital version, which you have it's like on Xbox or something like that. You can put it on your TV. I stink at that version. For some reason, for me, the rules have completely changed when it goes to a digital
You're
version of
old school.
Monopoly.
You're that way. All
Yeah.
right, let's move on to tip number three. Speaking of income, work now to create tax-free income for your retirement.
Yeah, so I guess we'll talk about this now. We've talked about portfolio diversification. We talked about income diversification, and then there's that tax diversification. So the more tax-free income you have, income from Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, if you have life insurance, there can be cash value built up in that, and that cash value on that life insurance can actually be really good income that you can take out that can be tax-free if it's taken out the right way. So how this tax-free benefit works is if Social Security goes down, and then you need extra income because you have this tax-free income in place. When you draw from it, you can get tax-free income that doesn't affect your Medicare premiums, and it can help keep your Social Security low because as you're drawing money out, if it's not taxable, more of your Social Security income can actually stay with you. Whereas if all you have is IRA money and 401k money, if Social Security benefits go down, and then you have to go to your IRAs and your 401ks that are pre-tax and pull money out, that can actually push you up into a higher tax bracket later on. So what
Right.
you really want to do is start creating tax-free income, because just like this chart shows, this is the history of taxes over time. And I can bet you that every politician is looking at where we're at right now and saying, hey, tax brackets are at all-time lows. We can raise these taxes up in the future because, heck, we did in the 40s and 50s and 60s. So I look at this chart and I look at it as taxes are at historic lows. Taxes are at a discount today. And so take opportunities now while tax rates are low to become more tax efficient, to create more tax-free income for a day when taxes will go up, because they will. Maybe
Right.
not in the next 5 years, but certainly in the next 10 to 15 years, they will.
Right. And that dovetails nicely into our last tip. You really should be more concerned about the taxes you pay in retirement rather than the fiscal health of Social Security. So, tip number 4, have a plan for taxes.
Well, and just like what I was saying, because the real threat, I mean, tax policies are going to change
Yep.
before Social Security goes bye bye. That's really the bottom line. The big picture is the less that you lose in taxes, paying it out to Uncle Sam, the more you get to keep, the more financial security you have, regardless of what happens with Social Security in the future. So don't just depend, number one, on Social Security. And the second thing is make sure that you're creating multiple streams of income. And if possible, have some of that income tax free. So if that Social Security does go down, you have a tax free bucket you can get to.
Right. Nick, again, claiming Social Security, one of the most important financial decisions you can make in retirement. I know this is something you specialize in.
Yeah.
If somebody would like to walk through these tips with you, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, you can always give us a call. 407-960-4052 is our local number. And then you just put up there our 800 number, 844 Group 10. So 844 Group 10. You can also go to our website, group10financial.com. Like you mentioned, you can't look at Social Security on an island.
Right.
It is a financial decision. And so having a Social Security maximization plan is incredibly important. You've got to diversify your income. That's something that we can help you with as well, is show you how to create a diversified income plan and also a tax efficient income plan. So we can wrap all that up in just a quick 15-minute strategy session call and see where you're at and see what needs to be done.
Great. All right, Nick, thanks so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Great being with you.